What if I told you that everything you thought you knew about Jesus is based on a common misconception? In this video, we'll reveal the truth about Jesus' background that challenges conventional beliefs. If you're ready to question everything and discover a new understanding of Jesus, keep watching. By understanding Jesus' Jewish roots, we gain a deeper appreciation for his teachings and the world he lived in, untangling the complex threads of history and faith that have shaped our world. It may seem obvious or even ridiculous to state, but Jesus was Jewish. This fundamental truth is often overlooked or misunderstood. A lot of people think that Jesus started a brand new religion that was distinct from Judaism. However, this is a historical misconception. Jesus lived and died a Jew. He observed Jewish law, celebrated Jewish festivals, and preached from the Jewish scriptures. The misconception of Jesus as anything other than Jewish has had profound implications for Christianity. Misunderstandings and conflicts have persisted for centuries because they falsely separated Jesus from his Jewish heritage. This journey of discovery challenges us to confront uncomfortable truths and embrace the complexities of religious identity. The idea of Jesus as separate from Judaism emerged gradually over time. Several factors came together to influence it, including the expansion of Christianity beyond Jewish communities and the Roman Empire's adoption of Christianity. The destruction of the Second Temple in Jerusalem in 70 CE, a crucial event that severed the geographical and spiritual connection between Judaism and Christianity, further solidified this division. Early church fathers like Justin Martyr and Origen promoted a theological shift that emphasized Jesus' divinity and his fulfillment of Jewish prophecy, which significantly influenced the perception of Jesus as distinct from Judaism. This shift, coupled with the growing cultural and political divide between Jews and Christians, reinforced the idea that Christianity was distinct from and separate from its Jewish origins, shaping how Jesus and Christianity were viewed outside and within Jewish communities. The consequences of this misconception have been profound and far-reaching. It has fueled anti-Semitism, distorted our understanding of both Judaism and Christianity, and restricted interfaith dialogue. By recognizing the myth of this separation, we can begin to repair the damage and foster greater understanding between these two interconnected faiths. To fully grasp Jesus' Jewish identity, we must understand the historical context of first-century Judea. This was a time of political turmoil, social unrest, and religious rise. Judea was under Roman occupation, a situation that raised resentment and resistance among the Jewish population. Various Jewish factions, such as the Pharisees, Sadducees, and Zealots, offered different visions for the future of Judaism and its relationship with Rome. Jesus entered this volatile world as a Jewish peasant from Nazareth, a small village in Galilee. His teachings, while radical in their message of love and forgiveness, were deeply rooted in Jewish tradition. He challenged the religious and political authorities of his day, not by rejecting Judaism, but by calling for its renewal and reform. Jesus' message resonated with many Jews who were disappointed with the status quo. He offered a message of hope, justice, and liberation, themes that had deep roots in Jewish scripture and history. To understand Jesus' impact, we must see him within this specific historical and religious context. Jesus' Jewish upbringing profoundly shaped his worldview and teachings. Raised in a devout Jewish home, Jesus would have received a thorough education in Jewish scripture and tradition. He would have attended Jewish places of worship regularly, participated in Jewish festivals, and observed Jewish law. From a young age, Jesus would have been immersed in the stories of the Hebrew Bible, learning about the covenant between God and Abraham, the Exodus from Egypt, and the law given to Moses. These stories would have shaped his understanding of God, justice, and the role of the Jewish people in the world. Jesus' teachings often drew upon these familiar narratives, reinterpreting them in light of his message and mission. Furthermore, Jesus' teachings reflect a deep familiarity with Jewish law and custom. Click on the like button to support insightful content about Jesus' early influences and teachings. He debated points of religious law with Pharisees, observed Jewish dietary restrictions, and celebrated Jewish festivals. His actions and teachings demonstrate a profound understanding and respect for Jewish tradition. The four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are our primary sources of information about Jesus' life and teachings. Matthew was written primarily for a Jewish audience and emphasizes Jesus as the Messiah prophesied in the Old Testament. Mark, the earliest gospel, focuses on Jesus' actions and miracles, portraying him as a suffering servant. Luke is addressed to a Gentile audience and highlights Jesus' compassion with a detailed account of his birth and early life. John emphasizes Jesus' divine nature and his relationship with God, offering a more theological perspective on his life and teachings. While these texts were written decades after Jesus' death and reflect the theological perspectives of their authors, they provide invaluable insights into Jesus' Jewish context. The Gospel writers were themselves Jewish, steeped in Jewish scripture and tradition. They interpreted Jesus' life and teachings through this lens, presenting him as the fulfillment of Jewish prophecy and the embodiment of Jewish hopes and aspirations. The Gospels are filled with references to Jewish scripture, law, and custom. Jesus is constantly quoting from the Hebrew Bible, engaging in debates about Jewish law, and participating in Jewish religious practices. His teachings are often presented as reinterpretations or fulfillments of Jewish prophecy. For example, Matthew presents Jesus as the new Moses, while Luke emphasizes his Davidic lineage. Understanding the Jewish context of the Gospels is essential for accurately interpreting their message. These texts were not written in a vacuum, but within a specific historical and religious background. By recognizing the Jewish lens through which these texts were written, we gain a deeper appreciation for the Jewishness of Jesus and his message. In its earliest days, Christianity was not a separate religion, but a movement within Judaism, with Jesus' followers, who were themselves Jewish, continuing to observe Jewish law and customs. They worshipped in the temple alongside other Jews and saw Jesus' teachings as a continuation of, not a break from, their Jewish faith. The early Christians did not see themselves as inventing a new religion. They believed they were fulfilling the true meaning of Judaism. The Book of Acts, which recounts the history of the early church, provides ample evidence of this Jewish Christianity. We see figures like Peter and James, prominent leaders in the early church, continuing to observe Jewish law and practice. The Apostle Paul, often credited with spreading Christianity beyond Jewish communities, also emphasized his Jewish identity and his adherence to Jewish law. The early church's presence in Jewish houses of worship throughout the Roman Empire further demonstrates its Jewish identity. Early Christians worshipped alongside their fellow Jews, sharing scriptures, prayers, and traditions. This close association between early Christianity and Judaism underscores the fact that Christianity emerged from within Judaism, not in opposition to it. While Christianity originated within Judaism, it gradually developed its own distinct identity. As Christianity spread beyond Jewish communities, it faced the challenge of adapting to new cultural contexts and appealing to a wider audience. The destruction of the Second Temple was a pivotal event in the development of both Judaism and Christianity. For Jews, it marked the loss of their central place of worship and the end of temple-based sacrifices. For Christians, it represented the end of the old agreement and the start of a new agreement based on believing in Jesus. Theological differences also contributed to the growing divide between Judaism and Christianity. While early Christians acknowledged Jesus' Jewishness, they increasingly emphasized his divinity and his role as the fulfillment of Jewish prophecy. This emphasis on Jesus' unique status, coupled with the rejection of certain Jewish practices, such as circumcision, created a theological gulf between the two faiths. The misconception of Jesus as separate from Judaism has had tragic consequences, most notably the rise of anti-Semitism. By severing Jesus from his Jewish roots, some anti-Semitism portrays Jews as the killers of Christ and enemies of the faith. This distorted view has fueled centuries of persecution and violence against Jews. The legacy of this misconception extends beyond anti-Semitism. It has also led to a superficial understanding of both Judaism and Christianity. By ignoring the Jewish context of Jesus' life and teachings, we miss the richness and complexity of his message. We also fail to appreciate the interconnectedness of these two faiths. Reclaiming Jesus' Jewish identity is not merely an academic exercise. It is essential for combating anti-Semitism, fostering interfaith dialogue, and deepening our understanding of Christian faith. By recognizing the Jewish roots of Christianity, we can begin to heal the wounds of the past and build a more just and compassionate future. Instead, it is about understanding him more fully within his historical and religious context. By recognizing Jesus as a first-century Jew, we gain a deeper appreciation for the Jewish roots of his teachings and the Jewish world that shaped his worldview. It allows us to see Jesus as he truly was, a product of his time and place, deeply rooted in Jewish tradition, yet also offering a radical message of love, forgiveness, and social justice. Reclaiming the Jewish Jesus is a call for both Christians and Jews to engage in honest dialogue and to confront uncomfortable truths about their shared history. It is a challenge to move beyond stereotypes and prejudices and to embrace the richness and complexity of our shared religious heritage. The story of Jesus' Jewish identity reminds us of the importance of historical truth in matters of faith. While faith requires a leap of belief, it should not be separated from reason and historical evidence. In fact, understanding the historical context of our faith can deepen its meaning and relevance for us today. When we ignore or distort historical truth to fit our own biases or agendas, we risk perpetuating harmful stereotypes and undermining the very foundations of our faith. Embracing historical truth, even when it is uncomfortable or challenging, is essential for growth, understanding, and reconciliation. The story of Jesus, the Jewish rabbi who became Christ, is a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of our world and the enduring legacy of our shared history. By confronting the misconceptions of the past, we can build a more just and compassionate future for all. The misconception that Jesus was not Jewish has had a profound impact on the course of history. The journey of reclaiming Jesus' Jewish identity is a call for both Christians and Jews to engage in honest dialogue, confront uncomfortable truths, and work together toward a more just and compassionate world. It is a reminder that our faiths, while distinct, are interconnected, and that our shared humanity should always be the foundation for understanding and respect. Explore more inspiring content on our channel. Click on the end screen video to continue your journey.